Hello, hello. I I can't see nobody. Hold on, you're muted.
I'm on mute now.
Okay. So, hello,
All right.
hello. Is anyone in the room? I can't see. Will I be able to see like if someone came in or their name or anything?
Not right now. We got one in the room right now. Got one in.
Okay, welcome. Okay, I don't know if they can text who it is, but anyway, you're here. I'm happy you're here. I just want to say thank you to everyone that has signed up, that took an active step into trying to figure out their next step in the home buying process. As you can see, my name is Diamond. If you probably know me from social media, and this is Mr. Michael Gates. He is a lending officer with Happy Lending. And today we're both going to be discussing pretty much things you need to know when you're trying to buy a home. So we're just going to jump right in. And if more people come in, this is also going to be recorded. So I'm also post this on my social media. So if someone who happened didn't able to join, even though they signed up for whatever reason, you will be able to see this later on today as well. So jumping straight in, when you're buying a house or when you firstly make the conscious decision to buy a home, your first step is or thinking, what is it that I'm supposed to do? Who do I'm supposed to talk to? Where I'm supposed to go. So the first step in just making the decision is just making the decision that you want to buy a house. You might have been a renter for a long time. You feel like you're paying too much for rent. You're not going to get any type of equity in renting from someone else, especially if you're renting a home. You're going to be paying somebody else's mortgage. So just making the conscious decision to be like, hey, I want to actually buy my own home. That is really the first step. After you have came to a conclusion with you and your spouse, or maybe you by yourself, that you want to buy a home, then now we have to figure out what type of home that you can actually buy, which Michael is going to also be tapping into that. But I'm just going to give you a brief run through. You want to pretty much get in contact with a local lender, whether it's your bank, your credit union. They have all different type of lending programs because you kind of want to see where you are in the home buying process. You can kind of also kind of start your own by looking at your own credit report, seeing what your numbers are, seeing if you are credit worthy of even buying a home, because credit is key in buying homes. Also, if you have any money saved, you got to have some type of money in order to buy a house. Don't let nobody tell you that you don't need no money to buy a house, because you do. It's always little fees you have to pay, different money you have to put up, earnest money, down payment, closing costs, um, inspection fees. So you also need some sort of money in order to start buying your home. After you kind of go through your budget to see if you even have the money to do so, most of the time, if you're paying rent, you can actually afford a home. If you're paying rent, you have a stable job, you have some sort of savings, you can pretty much buy a home, especially if your credit is good. You can definitely buy a home. After you kind of figure out that part just kind of on your own, you can want to do a mortgage application. What I have experienced and talk to people about, people be afraid to even try to put in an application. I don't know why, maybe a fear of rejection and them saying no, or maybe it's a fear of them feeling like maybe they're going to make their credit even lower. But it's not a bad idea to go ahead and put in a mortgage application, because this is going to tell you exactly where you are, if you're ready or if you're not ready. And if you're not ready, they're going to tell you what you need to do to get ready. So once you do that, the next part, once you have your pre-approval, if everything goes like it's supposed to go, you have your pre-approval. Now it's time to kind of vet out for a realtor. You want to see who's qualified enough, who even have the time, the patience, the customer service skills to be able to assist you in finding your home. People think that finding a realtor is all about paperwork, but it's really customer service is key. Someone is going to be there to help you every step of the way, to be able to assist you in the needs that you need, to make sure that your home buying process go very smoothly. Hopefully you use me, okay? You use me, but you're acceptable to use anybody you want, but you want to make sure that realtor is knowledgeable, that realtor is attentive to detail, the realtor has the time and patience for you and know how to deal with people, because everybody deal with people in different ways. Also, you want someone who is not just looking at you as a dollar sign. They actually care about your experience, and they want your experience to be the best experience that you had. After you find your realtor that you fell madly in love with, then the next step after that is going to be actually searching for your home. Your realtor should be able to pinpoint you in the right direction based off whatever your pre-approval is. That's the that's the price that you're going to be shopping in. Nothing more, nothing less. So that realtor should be able to make sure that you are in the right buying market, that you take your needs in considerations, where you can get kind of what you want for the money that you're offered through the lender, and to make sure that you're happy at all times. I mean, we all can't get everything that we want, but we can very much come close to it. Once you do that and you found your home, the next stage is putting in an offer. Will your realtor will write up a contract for you based off what it is that you want to put on the table, based off of what the person is asking for their home. You have the ability to bid low, and you have the ability to bid higher. So whatever you want to bid, the realtor will also give you their recommendations. But really, the ball is in your court. And based off that, we will create a contract and we will send it off to the seller of the home. Now, if everything go like it's supposed to do and they accept your offer and with no negotiations, meaning like they didn't have any type of counter offer where you may offer less and they came back with a higher number, or maybe you put in the contract that you want the refrigerator or the washer and dryer, and they came back and said, oh well, you got to pay X, Y, and Z. So if no negotiations and everybody offer is accepted and everybody is like, okay, we want this, then we go into different stages where we're going to appraisals and inspections, because you want to make sure the house is what it is, that there's no hidden conditions going on, because you still have the ability to back out if something happens that they didn't disclose. So you want to make sure you get your inspections. The appraisal is going to come along to make sure that the person is not um, overpricing the house. A perfect situation is they price the house at a certain price and it comes back that is less. So that means that you walk in your home with equity, because you got your home um, way lesser than what they was actually saying that the house was worth. Um, so other than that, after you go through all the appraisal part, the inspection part, everything is where it's supposed to be. You're gonna go to closing, where you will bring your closing costs with your down payment, which we're gonna talk about that as well. And you sign in all your paperwork, and before you know it, you got the keys in your hand. The house has been paid for through your lender, and you are a homeowner. I know this sounds easy, but it really can be easy if you have the right realtor on your side and if you have the right lending company on your side as well. It can definitely be a walk in the park. It doesn't have to be as difficult as some people may have made it seem to buy a home. But as long as you got all your I's dotted, your T's crossed, your paperwork is great, your funds is available, you could definitely be a homeowner. Definitely be a homeowner. And if you have the mindset of that's something that you want to do, then you should definitely go for it. Other than that, it's that simple. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. Just make your mind up that you want to do it. Get with the right people that know what they're doing. Follow the steps. If you follow directions, you can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong. You follow directions. But other than that, Michael is going to tell you about the part that I don't know nothing about. The lending part. Okay, he's going to talk to you about the lending part. And take notes, y'all. This is the time to take notes. If you have questions, think of your questions now so you can ask later. Other than that, you have the floor, Mr. Gates.
Well, thank you very much. That's a lot of good information. My name is Michael Gates. Like Diamond said, I am a loan officer with Happy Home Lending. I'm basically a mortgage broker, so I can work with that. I actually work with about 30 banks. So whenever you apply or you submit an application to me, I'm able to take that application and go to multiple lenders so I can shop for the best deal possible for the homeowner. So it's a little bit different from other lenders. Like if you go to a bank, the bank is kind of held to their specific guidelines, which isn't a bad thing. It's just different. Whereas I basically am a broker and I can shop around. I can take your application from one place and place it in another place if the deal is better. Now, with that being said, I'm only going to run your credit once. Once we run your credit and pull that credit report, it's going to be good for 120 days. All right. So, like I said, we're going to file this with multiple lenders if need be. When we're submitting this application, or when you submit that application to us, some people are not going to be credit ready, right? That's just the reality. So with Happy Home, what we're going to do, or what I'm going to do, is I'm going to actually give you a credit repair document. It's going to outline some things that you can actually do to help improve your credit. And then we can set benchmarks, and we can set a game plan up where we're going through and we're improving your credit and we're monitoring it so we can get you to a place where you can actually purchase a property. So some people think that, well, my credit's not there yet, so I'm going to wait till I get my credit to the point where I can purchase a property. But if you don't know about purchasing a property, you may not know what's good credit and what's acceptable credit. And when I say acceptable credit, you may not have good credit, but you may still qualify for a home. If you are a veteran and you qualify for a VA loan is 100% 100% loan to value. So this is 100% loan. So there's no down payment if you qualify for that. You just have to pay closing costs. Same with the USDA loan if you qualify. So that can eliminate some of that upfront cost. But the reason why I bring up a VA loan is because there are veterans that can actually qualify for a VA loan with a credit score of around 500, right? So you don't really have good credit, but you have acceptable credit, and we can kind of work with that. So whenever you get in the mindset of buying a property, talk to your real estate agent, talk to a loan officer, so we can actually go through your credit to see if you actually need to do any repairs to it. And if you do need some repair done to it, we have that documentation where we can set up guidelines to get you to that point. But if we go through the process or we're talking and you are to the point where you have a down payment, you have acceptable credit, and you're going to go ahead and apply for that loan. So you're going to complete the loan application. You're going to submit your credit documentation, income documentation, and any asset documentation. And when I say asset documentation, that's just your bank statements, any 401k, or anything like that that we actually have to review. You're going to submit all that documentation, and we're going to put that through what we call an automated underwriting system. When we do this, it's going to give us a decision. It's going to kind of outline any conditions that may come up in the future. So when we're going through that pre-approval process and we get you through that automated system, then and you get that pre-approval, we're going to have that pre-approval with as small amount of conditions as possible, right? So that's the objective. Now, there's some different type of loans that you're going to hear about when you're going through the process. You're going to hear about FHA loans, conventional loans, USD loans, which I've mentioned before. And then you're going to have like non-qualified mortgages or non-QM loans. So when you're going through an FHA loan requires a 3.5% down payment. So just to let you know, the down payment and the closing costs are two different things. So 3.5% is what FHA is going to require as a down payment, and that's just to secure that property. That doesn't include any closing costs. So the closing costs are going to be something different. Those are going to be your like Miss was speaking about. Those are going to be like your appraisal, credit report, title, things like that are going to be what's going to be included in your closing costs. But when you if you qualify for FHA loan requires at least a 3.5% down payment. A conventional loan is going to require at least a 3% down payment. So it's a little bit less, but a conventional loan is a little bit harder to get into. They have a little bit stricter guidelines. So it's a little bit harder to get into than an FHA loan. But if you qualify, it's only 3% down for that. Now, USDA loan, those are have zero down payment. It's 100% loan to value, and loan to value means that basically they're going to finance 100% of the value of that loan. So 100%. So if you're going through the home buying process, people may say 100% loan to value, or this, percentage of the loan to value. Basically, 100% loan to value means they're going to finance 100% of the loan. If it's 80% loan to value, means they're going to finance 80% of the loan, and you have to put 20% down. So this is a little bit of terminology that's that you may hear when you're going through the home buying process. Another thing, some people say, "Well, I'm self-employed and I haven't submitted any of my taxes in a while, and I do all my business through my bank statement, so I don't know if I qualify for a home yet." You absolutely can qualify for a home using your bank statements. If you haven't filed your taxes in a while, we can actually use your bank statements. If you're self-employed, we just look at how much of the business that you own, what percentage of the business that you own, and we assess your income through your bank statements. So those are a lot of information. And if you have any questions, you can actually email me at the email address below my name. But yeah, so those are the type of loans that you're going to be looking at. Now, we got you pre-qualified. You know how much house that you want to purchase now, and you get that purchase contract. You find that home. Now, once we receive that purchase contract, what we're going to do is we're going to order a title, and then we're going to need to get some updated pay stubs and bank statements from you. So even though you did at the beginning of the transaction to get the pre-approval, we're going to need updated bank statements and pay stubs. So don't fret, as they say, when you get asked for updated information. Then we're going to submit that information to the lender. We're going to send out any disclosures that need to be sent out. And then that lender is going to send it over to the underwriter, and the underwriter is going to see if we have everything or if there's any conditions. If there's any conditions, a couple of things that may come up. If there's any large deposits, the underwriter will want an explanation of that. If there's any any deductions that look kind of weird on your pay stubs, they may need an explanation of that. A divorce decree if you've been divorced, things like that. So the underwriter is going to ask for that information, and while we're gathering that information, we're going to have that appraisal ordered, and then that appraisal gets done, and then we're going to submit all the conditions, and then we'll be clear to close. And then that's that happy time. That's when everybody does the happy dance and all that stuff. So now, a couple of things. One, when you get that pre-approval, it's exactly how it's phrased. A pre-approval is not the end of the road. Do not go out and just start spending a lot of money. Do not run up your credit. Do not put large deposits in your bank account that we can't explain. Now, you can use your credit cards. I don't want people to think that, well, I got my pre-approval, I can't use my credit cards. You can use it, but keep your balances very low. So if you're like using it for gas or groceries and things like that, and you're paying them off, that's fine. But you don't want to start charging up big large amounts on your credit card, and you don't want to open up any personal loans or car loans or anything like that. A couple of things that have happened is people have gotten a pre-approval, and then after they got a pre-approval, they have bought a car, and they no longer have a pre-approval because basically it blows off their debt. So just be mindful. Anything that you do, if you have any questions about purchases, just talk to your loan officer or talk to your real estate agent. Another thing, do not quit your job. Do not say, I got this pre-approval, so boss, take this job and shove it because I'm moving to my dream house. No, do not quit your job after the pre-approval. Now, once you get that closed, still don't quit your job because you got mortgage payments. So you got to hold on to that job till you get another job. So those are a couple of things. Now, one thing I want to let people know is when you're going through or when you're thinking about purchasing a house, when that thought even comes in your mind of purchasing a house, speak to a real estate agent or a lender at that point in time. Don't wait and say, I got to wait until I get some money, or you have this amount of money that you're trying to save up to. Speak to a real estate agent or a loan officer. The reason why I say that is because right now they have programs where you only have to put 1% down. They have lenders that are actually paying 2% of your down payment, 2.5% of your down payment. So the lender is basically paying some of your down payment right now. Another thing is that that lenders have is grants. They have forgivable grants where if you qualify for an FHA loan, they may be able to give you 2% of the funds in what they call a grant. And if you get that 2% or 3%, whatever the case may be, the stipulation may be that you have to live in the property for a certain amount of time, or you may have to keep the loan current for a certain amount of time. And once you satisfy those conditions, you don't have to pay that money back. So keep that in mind. So when you're in the home buying mode, don't think that it's I gotta wait until this point in time. Speak to a professional so that professional can actually give you the guidelines, put you on the path to actually, so you're not spinning your wheels, right? So because if you don't know, you don't know. Speak to a real estate professional. Speak to Diamond. Diamond's one of the best real estate agents in the Houston area. So speak to her. Let her give you the information you need, and then go through that process. That way you're not spinning your wheels. You're progressing to an actual goal, and then you know that goal is going to get you into the house versus doing some things. And for instance, there was a young lady who I was working with that paid off a lot of stuff on her credit before she spoke to me. And she didn't have to pay off a lot of stuff on her credit. Those were funds that she could actually use for a down payment, and then took care of those debts in the future. So those are just a little bit of things to keep in mind. So with that being said, I'm going to send it back over to Diamond and go from there.
So yes, that was some great information that you gave out. I don't know if anyone can they can email you or me. Both our emails are on the screen as well. If you have any questions, I know most of you guys probably seen me post this on social media, so you're more than welcome to hit me in my DM. But just to go back to what he was saying about how some people might not even think they're ready, but they're actually ready. So if you are very much so interested in buying a home, please reach out to either one of us so we can see where you are. Don't be afraid to fill out a mortgage application, because this is going to tell us exactly where you are, where you need to be. If you just ready straight out the door, this is going to tell us exactly what we need to do. And also to help you get prepared. If you also need help with credit repair, you can reach out to me for credit repair. I have a few people that I trust and know that does phenomenal with credit repair. And with credit repair, it's just not a 1 day fix. It's just not. So, but if you're serious and you, like I said, follow directions, following direction is key. Okay. If you follow directions and you do what you need to do, then you will progress yourself in a way that you could not have done by yourself. Because just knowing the knowledge, being around people that know the knowledge is the key to being successful in anything that you're trying to accomplish. So make sure that you reach out to me if you have questions. You can reach out to Michael if you have lending questions, just number questions. He is the guy.
Questions are good. Ask questions.
It's no wrong. It's no stupid question. It's no stupid question. Okay, because what you might ask, 1,000 people might want to ask too. They just don't know how to ask, or they're just embarrassed to ask. So life is a learning experience. We're all here to learn, and I want to make sure I help every single person achieve their dreams of home ownership, if that's something that you want to do as well. Because I know for me personally, I don't want to pay nobody else mortgage. If I got to pay something, it's going to be for me. So I don't know if they can put questions in here in the live, but take okay, Mr. Mike. Yes, is getting an inspection a good idea? Yes, it's definitely a good idea. You definitely want to get an inspection, even if you're doing new construction. Get an inspection, because sometimes some new construction homes look pretty on the outside, but in the inside they all jacked up, and those people need to be held accountable to make sure that they're fixing the homes correctly, so that way you won't buy a messed up home. So yes, get an inspection on resale, get an inspection on new construction, and don't use their people if you're doing new construction. You go outsource, find somebody else, so that way you'll get an accurate inspection. And then you also get a copy of that too. Should a home buyer look for when deciding the area to live? That's a good question as well. So you want to, everybody's different. Everybody's experience is different. You may not have kids. You may have kids. I know for me, I look at school districts because I have children. So I want to make sure that my kids are in a great school district. You can also look up if it's a bad crime area. You don't want to live in an area that's always dealing with some sort of crime that's going on. You also want to make sure you're not in an area that floods as well, because you know we're in Texas, so we flood all the time. In regular rain, we flood. So you want to make sure that you're not in an area that will possibly have your home with water in it. You know, that can be an issue as well. So you definitely want to look in those key areas. If you have kids, what type of school district, what the neighborhood looks like. You know, what is it? What is it around? Is it a developing neighborhood? Is it established neighborhood? Sometimes I know what I used to do. I used to drive around neighborhoods or apartments, especially when I was living in apartments. I used to drive around those apartments at nighttime. I want to see what that nightlife looked like in that neighborhood, to see if it's people hanging out in the street, if it's, you know, if the police drives through there. I want to make sure I live somewhere safe. So you definitely want to look at those key things when you are also looking for a home. Also, tax rate. Um, what are their taxes? If they have HOA fees, what are the HOA fees? Like, you want to make sure you want to make sure you get everything in order to make sure this is the area you want to stay in as well.
Yeah, and the tax rate is a big thing. Well, it ain't a big thing, but it can be a big thing because you may want to live in a certain area, but if you can move a mile and a half down the street, you may have a lower tax rate.
Mm-hmm.
So just pay attention to the tax rate of the area that you want to live in, because you can possibly live in the same area with a lower tax rate just by moving like mile and a half down the street. So, but yeah, that's something to keep in mind when you're looking at houses as well. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate your question.
All
Definitely.
right. All right. And it doesn't look like we have any more questions. So did you have any more nuggets to give the people?
Um, just understanding that when you're buying a house, have patience with yourself. Show yourself grace. Sometimes the first home is not the right home. It's okay to keep looking. That's what your realtor job is to do, is to make sure that you find the perfect home that fits your budget. We don't want to make sure that you don't buy anything that's out of your budget. You want to make sure you can afford your home. You want to make sure that it's something that you're gonna, after you sign your paperwork, you're gonna be proud that you have purchased this home. We're not here to force you into anything. You're not paying us, so it's absolutely free to use a realtor. We get paid on the back end, a whole nother process. So if you meet a realtor to say that you got to pay them, that is not true. Okay. You do not have to pay a realtor when you're trying to buy a house. So we are working to help you achieve your goals. And I know personally, I love working with new home buyers. I'm actually going through the home buying process myself, so I'll be able to give you real life experiences on what I have went through, just personally, not through someone else's eyes of me just watching them go through it, but just me myself going through it. I'm actually buying a home where I got it built from the ground, so I'm doing new construction. So I definitely can assist you with new construction. I'm definitely team new construction. I like new stuff. I don't want anything old. So I definitely can help you with that as well. Other than that, it's a mental process. It's definitely, you have to be mentally ready in order to buy a home, because they about to be all in your business. Okay, all in your financial business. They want to know this, that, and all the other. But other than that, it's a beautiful experience. It definitely is. It's nothing like owning something of your own. But other than that, I have nothing else. Y'all please hit me up in my email. Hit up Michael. Okay, we are here to help you win at this home buying process.
Two things that I wanted to kind of piggyback on. One is what you said about paying a lender. A lot of I've been in the mortgage industry for a long time, and that's one of the things a lot of people have a misconception is they gotta, when they talk to a realtor to start looking for a house, that they gotta cut them a check. That's not really the case.
Mm-hmm.
You speak to the realtor, and then, like she said, the realtor gets paid at the transaction, not from you up front.
No.
Another thing is to be upfront with what you can afford,
Mm-hmm.
and any debts or income that you have. Just be upfront with your financial situation, and be upfront with like what you can actually afford. And because don't let me tell you what you can afford, because I'm looking at numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that you like to do certain things. Like you might like to, go to brunch on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
Every Sunday you at brunch. So I'm not taking into account your brunch bill.
Right.
Just because I look at it and I say you can afford it, you gotta say, I got a brunch bill over here that I got to take care of. So just be honest with your lender about what you can actually afford, so they can put you in the right product that's going to suit you. Because you don't want to get put in a position where you're struggling. You get into this new house, but you start not liking your new house because financially you're struggling, and that dream can become a nightmare just because over a few $100s. So just be upfront with your loan officer. Let them know your financial situation, and let them know what you can and can't afford.
Yes, that is key. And even dealing with new construction, what I had learned going through my own process of going to the design center. If you want to go to new construction route, and I happen to be your realtor and I take you to all these new builders, I'm gonna tell you up front, do not get caught up in the design center, okay? Because the design center, well, you might start off at a base price, but by the time you leave the design center, you're gonna be well over your budget. Okay, so I also want to teach people how to not have their full emotions all the way in until after you sign that paper and that house is yours, because anything can happen. to where you might have to walk away and then you're heartbroken. It's kind of like how when you go to the car dealership and they make you go test drive cars before they even tell you that you was approved. So now you get all amped up because you about to get you a new car. Then when you go to the table, they be like, "Oh well, unfortunately, you can't get it." And now you all sad because you done envision yourself driving off the lot with the car. Like, I don't want you to go through that. Okay. I went through that with, with my own house experience. I had to like come back to reality and check myself and say, hey, I'm gonna be in this house for a few years. I might end up selling this house. I do not have to get every little single thing that these people are trying to make me buy in this design center. So you want to make sure you come into this process with a clear mind, be able to make decisions on the spot of what's best for you and your wallet, because at the end of the day, you are the ones that have to pay this mortgage, nobody else. Once I'm through with you, Michael is through with you, we sign them papers, that is you all day. That is you all day. So at the end of the day, make sure you have someone on your side that's looking out for you and not their own pockets. But other than that, I appreciate everybody that came on this live, everybody who has asked a question. If you weren't able to make it, I will keep this video and have it posted up on all my social media platforms. But other than that, that is it.
All right. Well, thank everybody for joining, and I hope everyone have a good evening.
Thank you. Bye.